Hey everyone, how are you all doing? So I'm going to take a look at the Medicom Mafex Spider-Man Far From Home upgraded suit Spider-Man. And this figure is a absolute blast. It does have some problems that I will get into in a minute, but overall it's fantastic. So let's start off by taking a look at what Peter comes with. Out of the box, he comes with this head with the just standard eyes and fists. For an alternate head, he comes with this kind of squinting eye head. I wish that he would have come with, since, it came out 2 years after the movie, I wish he would have come with completely blacked out ones, like whenever he closed his eyes and was saying, "Come on, Peter Tingle." And with this Spider-Man, we get the usual array of hands. We get 2 open wall crawling hands, 2 thwip hands, which, as you can see, all of these have pretty much the exact same detailing, and they all look fantastic. They all pretty much poured onto the body decently well. Some of them, you just gotta be careful because you don't want to accidentally snap the peg because they're only like the width of a toothpick, We have the magnetic wall crawling hands, which these are very fun. The magnets aren't as strong as like the Iron Spider that I have, but they're all right. They're not too bad. And then we get web swinging hands, which these can also be used as like a thumbs up hands. And something of note, be careful when it comes to these because they're the webs kind of fit very tight in there, and the webs, they're a little fragile. And as you can see right here, we get these 2 webs, which these are the they're pretty much the exact same webs we get with every Spider-Man figure, and this time, which I'm not sure if the Far From Home one, I think all the Tom Holland Spider-Mans have had this kind of semi-translucent one, but as I was saying before, be careful because if you look right here, you can see some of the paint chipping off the hands, which it's the inside, it's not that big of a deal, but it's really tight, and it's almost a 90-degree angle. You just don't want to push a little too hard and then just snip that off. But, we do get 2 of them. They're actually different. Yeah, all the webs are actually different. We get 2 smaller thwips that rip. I cannot talk today. I apologize. I'm so hyped for the Snyder Cut, all right? I can't talk today. These 2 ones that hook around the wrists, and they're the shorter ones, and then we also get 2 longer ones. And these are all really nice. There's really nothing more you could ask for with these. And we also get magnetic feet, as per usual, and the detail on the bottom of the shoes are pretty cool. I really like these. The details on stuff and the magnets look nice. It'd be kind of cool if we could get like, I don't know how they would do it, but like a painted magnet, so it would actually like blend in with the feet. That'd be kind of cool. But if they did that, then they would need to include the, the alternate feet. And now for the different things that are not standard when it comes to Spider-Man, we get a cell phone with Peter. We get, let's see, what's the inside? This one's there you go, here's the inside. You can see the little bar at the top. Let's see, can I get the light on it? Just right, there you go, perfect. All right, let's see, I might need tweezers to do this. You got the 3 buttons at the bottom and the one at the top. I kind of wish on the screen it said MJ calling, like in the movie. That'd be kind of cool. But it is what it is. And it fits into these sort of relaxed hands, which these are almost the mask grabbing hands that we get with a lot of the other Spider-Mans. If it just had a peg right there, it'd be pretty much the exact same. But these are nice. I like these. These are good for relaxed hands. They're good for semi-action hands, as well as the phone holding hands. And you could probably get some other stuff for him to hold some other stuff too. And to complete that scene, the post-credit scene from Far From Home, we get peace sign hands, or 2s, or dot in somebody's eyes, whatever you want to do with them. And these are cool. I really like these hands. I've had a lot of fun putting all these accessories on Peter and just taking cool pictures, which you'll see at the end, and on my Instagram and all that stuff. And it's just, I have a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with this figure. One thing that is a huge bummer is he doesn't come with a Tom Holland head. So I've just been using the Mafex first Iron Spider one, which I like this head. It's not as good as some of the third parties, but really not a whole lot of things are as good as the third party one because those have just love and care put into them and they're not mass produced, But it is what it is. And now let's go over the details. Starting up here in the head, we get that nice basketball kind of texture throughout the all the red parts on the figure. The lenses look very nice. Everything's painted very well. The eye, actually, yeah, this one's painted very well, but if you look, the black is just slightly off of the eye, so it kind of looks like his eyes are a little far apart, but it's really not that noticeable in person. It's just really kind of noticeable on camera. We get the, the spider logo. There's a nice black wash over, like a very, very subtle black wash. The only reason that it's there is because, like, you can see a little bit, it's kind of not splotchy, so to speak, because washes aren't really splotchy. They're more just kind of applied. But the spider on the back, I haven't really looked at this that closely until just now on camera, but wow, look at that. That is so clean and it looks so nice. And we get the different texture for the black parts of the suit. We got the red going around his red belt, which, the No Way Home suit, just pretty much this exact same suit, but they took these little black detailing right here on the belt away. There's some nice detailing going along the legs. They're very subtle, which is really cool because a lot of the stuff you don't really notice it in the movie, and then you get the action figures for it, like especially the import stuff, and you're like, wow, that was a detail on there? That's actually really neat. I never noticed that before. They put a lot of care and detail into the suits, and into the figures, you know, because they want them to look as good as possible, and they look great. One thing that does kind of bug me, which, you know what, I'll get into the gripes in a second. Let me finish the detail. As you can see, the bottom of the feet right there looks like the magnet ones, but without the magnets. So let's go over the gripes real quick just to get them out of the way. One, I don't like that he doesn't go with the Peter Parker head. You know, for other people who have gotten all the other Spider-Mans, you have a multitude of Peter Parker heads to choose from, but I just have the Iron Spider one, and this Tom Holland head, it's not bad. You know, this one's not that bad, but, you know, it would have been nice to get that. I get why they didn't do it. They did it so you would buy the stealth suit version, which I originally did have that on pre-order, but I canceled it because I trying to cut back on buying so many damn figures, because you know that you start running out of space and it just becomes a whole hassle, you know, because you got to debate, you know, do I sell stuff? Do I put stuff in storage? What do I put in storage? What do I sell? You know, stuff like that. And it sucks, you know. Another problem that I have is the ankle joints, and it really is just the ankle joints, because you can only see those. But the red, you know, because it's like has the nice wash on it and the nice red, and then it gets to this really bright red down here, and it kind of throws your eye off a little bit, because you're like, whoa, what is wrong with his ankles? But really, that could be easily fixed with a just a slight black wash over it. But, you know, not everyone wants to do that, and we shouldn't have to for, you know, an $80+ figure. And then the last gripe I have, which is part of the articulation, so we'll just kind of start at that point and then work our way up and then work our way down, is the torso. It has good articulation, but not as good as you'd want for Spider-Man. You can still get him into amazing poses, but, you know, you want more. Like, the fact that he can only go that far forward, not too great. He can go that far back, which is all right. Tilt with both of them to the side, you know, rotation. You can get him into some pretty good poses. Like, I'll do it real quick. You can get him into a really solid sort of swinging through the streets of New York kind of thing. So, like that, you know, you can get him into some good poses, but it's just, I kind of wish there was a little more, because if I bring in the Iron Spider figure, it actually is a little taller, I think, but the torso bends just a little bit more, just the slightest little bit more, and it, you know, with the drop-down leg method, it just works better for the figure, you know. But going over the rest of the articulation, his head can go that far up, which is pretty damn good, can go all the way down, fantastic. His side of his head can almost touch his shoulder. That's beautiful. That's fantastic. Or I should be saying that's amazing and spectacular, because, you know, puns, but I'm saying fantastic. So you got rotation at the top and bottom of the neck. Arms can go up that far, rotate all the way around. Butterfly joints that can get the arm to go all the way across the body, which is really good for Spider-Man, because you always want him to be in a cool web swinging pose. Arm can go back that far. Bicep swivel, which is pretty good. Double jointed elbows, I almost said knees, that go up that far, which, you know, you can't really want more than that, because otherwise it's unrealistic. And standard Mafex joints at the hands. We already went over the torso. Legs drop down and can go, can drop that far down and go almost full split. It's pretty good. Can go up that far and back that far, so you can get him into a pretty decent front split thing. I don't know what that's technically called, but pretty good. So you can get him to kick a criminal in front of him and a criminal behind him. So no thigh swivel, but, you know, there is a little bit of a swivel at the hip joint. Double jointed knees that go up almost all the way. No boot swivel, of course. And then Mafex standard joints at the ankles. And then, of course, toe pivot, toe joint, which, you know, I hate toe joints. I really do. But for Spider-Man, you can kind of get away with it, because if you want to get him into a kneeling pose or whatever, you want to do that, you can get him like so he can be getting ready to, like, jump off, you know, something. If I can get him to stand, there we go. And that looks good. I like that. So I hate toe joints, but I'll let it slide on Spider-Man. Real quick, I just want to show you all how the Iron Spider Tom Holland head looks on there. Popping the head off so I can show you what the Tom Holland head looks like on here from the Iron Spider. The first Iron Spider, because I don't know if the second one came with it or not, if they took it out of the box. This is what it looks like with that head on here, and I like it. I mean, obviously, you know, you don't have the half skin tone neck for it, but I think this looks good. While I'm getting this head back on here, who all is excited about the Snyder Cut tomorrow? You know, where are my my fellow DC and Marvel and just superhero fans in general? You know, who's not just exclusively on one side? Who's so excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier on Friday, and tomorrow we get the Snyder Cut? Who's so excited? You know, this is, what a time. What a great time to be a superhero fan. What a great week for it specifically. And also, hey, if you have not seen, they put up the McFarlane Toys Snyder Cut figures on Target, so go get those. Anyway, let's go over some size comparisons. Starting off with the size comparisons, we've got the Mafex Iron Spider from Infinity War and the Marvel Legends Far From Home Spider-Man, so upgraded suit Spider-Man. And I think this works. This, this definitely works because it looks like he's in... the proportions on this are a lot better, I have to say. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, with this Spider-Man, it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but I did do a black wash on this to see what would happen, because I heard so many people talking about it, and they were like, and I was like, you know, what's the fuss about with this? I want to do it, because I really thoroughly enjoy this figure. I hated the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Homecoming, like, tech suit, or Stark suit, whatever you want to call it. I hated those figures. Those figures are garbage. The homemade suit was really good, and this has been really good. But the other ones, every other Stark suit outside of the one from the MJ 2-pack is just trash. I'm sorry, but that's just, they're so weirdly proportioned. They don't move right, and they just aren't great, you know? But that's just my opinion. If you want to get your Spider-Verse on, you can have him team up with Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse and 616 Comic Spider-Man. And this looks really good. I really like this. I think this works because, you know, Peter's supposed to be, well, I say Peter as if all three of these are not Peter Parker. Tom Holland Spider-Man, you know, he's supposed to be a kid, so he's not supposed to be as tall. He's supposed to be a teenager, so I think this works. And actually, before we take him away, I want to test who has better splits for Spider-Man. Actually, about the same, because I'm trying to take into consideration his height, because he'd be closer to the ground anyway from his height. But that's not bad. Here he is next to the Netflix Black Suit Daredevil, or Vigilante Suit Daredevil, and the Infinity War box set Doctor Strange, so you can get your whole Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Home theories going, and, you know, your ACBA theories going. And speaking of, for your wilder theories, which I'd say they're not super wild, because I mean, you know, hey, anything is possible. He is with Wanda from the Infinity War 2-pack with her and Vision, and then the Venom from the Tom Hardy Venom from the Venom movie. Also, I'd like to apologize for the fact that I don't know if I talked about it in any of my other videos. I think I talked about it maybe in my diorama video. The fact that I didn't finish reviewing WandaVision and all that. I tried to do a reaction to it, and like to some episodes, and they didn't go up. YouTube wouldn't let them go up, and I followed all the guidelines and everything on how to actually do it without getting it, you know, without doing copyright infringement. But I've seen people that have posted the whole freaking episode and then reacted to it, and nothing happened to them. So I was just like, well, if the rules don't apply to everyone, then why am I even trying to do this, you know? So that was discouraging. I'm gonna do reviews though. I might do a reaction of sorts to the Snyder Cut, like my initial reactions after watching it, which will probably just be me screaming and crying for like a solid minute straight. And then I'll do Falcon the Winter Soldier, which will probably be the same reaction if I'm going to be honest. So, yeah. And then if you want to get real wild with the multiverse, here he is next to Lord Raiden from Mortal Kombat 11 from McFarlane Toys, and the Star Wars The Black Series Archive Wave Thrawn. And I completely forgot to put Thrawn in my recent pickups video, and I feel like a dumbass. Wow, this really looks cream colored on here. I promise it's a white suit. That's so weird. I wonder why it looks like that under my lights. But yeah, I completely forgot Thrawn. I literally looked at my Rebel shelf and went, is there anybody on there who needs to be in the recent pickups video? And I looked at it and I'm like, no, okay, that's everybody. And then I turned and walked away. Probably why his eyebrows a little raised. He's like, you son of a bitch. Overall, this figure's just very good. He has a couple things wrong with him, but nothing that's really too major, you know? Like the Tom Holland head, if you have an old Mafex one, you can easily do that. Or if you want to buy a third-party head, the joints at the bottom, his ankle joints being too bright red, you could always fix that yourself. Or if it doesn't bother you, then, you know, it's not a big problem. And then the torso articulation, it could be better, but it's not the worst we've ever seen, and it's pretty decent. You can still get him into amazing poses. So it's really not that big of a deal. It's just something that I wanted to point out for those of you who thought maybe he would be able to completely bend himself over at a 90-degree angle. You know, just don't get your hopes too high on that. Just learn to, you know, work around it. And it's really not that hard once you get past that initial curve. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this down in the comments below. Let me know if you are excited about Spider-Man No Way Home, if you're going to pick this up yourself, if you're excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier on Friday, and if you're excited about the Snyder Cut tomorrow. And until next time, see ya.